Hi, I'm Robert from Royal Manufacturing. We're here at one of our local creeks that we've gotten some good gold in the past. This area floods out every once in a while. You can see the bank over there where it gets cut away. So in the past we've gotten some good gold here. I'm going to show you today about our folding sluice box and our header kit. It's in that box over there. And we're going to see if we can get some gold with you guys today. So here we go. In this box we have our multi-purpose kit. What includes inside this box is our folding sluice box, our head kit, the legs, and the frame, all inside one box. So if you have this box, you're ready for running water or not. But since we have running water right here, we're going to set up the sluice box right here and get some good dirt on the inside of this bank here and run off and see if we can find some little bit of gold for you today. We'll open it up here. What we're going to do is we're going to open the box up, and then we're going to set up in the creek, and then we're going to show you how it runs without the legs. And then we'll show you how it runs with the legs, how much time you can save with using legs. So you can save more time setting your stuff up. And then we're going to take it back out, and we're going to act like we have no running water, and we'll put our head on there and pump the water to it where you have just standing water. So now we're going to open it up and see what we've got in this box here. So we open it up. Again, this is our multi-purpose kit. Let's open it up. This is our folding backpacking sluice right here. This is what we're going to be using today. So we're going to set that aside. It's really simple to operate. All you do is just open it up. There's our instructions right there. We're going to set that aside. Just one click past center right there. One click past center. And this is our flare. We're going to put that on right there. Right now, without any tools, we have our sluice box ready to go, except for putting the flare on there. That's real easy too. We're going to just remove the bolts and just put it right on there. The purpose of this flare is to channel water into your sluice box. So we're just going to loosen his wing nuts right here, up, right here. We use wing nuts because there's no tools. You don't want to have any tools out here because once they drop in the dirt, they get lost. And so you have no tools. So you open that up, take that wing nut off, and attach that to right there. Put that right there. Put our wing nuts through there. Attach the other side with the other wing nut. We put the wing nuts on the outside, that way it's more smoother on the inside with the head of the bolt. Okay, so as you see, that's fully assembled there. So we're going from 15 inches as its folded state to 50 inches. So we have a 50-inch sluice box that'll fit inside of a 5-gallon bucket. And it folds together. You can take it back apart with just no tools. There's a little catch right here. You just put your finger right there. There's folded. There's locked up without no tools right there. Unfolds just like that. We're going to put it in our stream. Now this hole you see right here, that's for attaching it to our frame, which we'll show you later. Now if you're using it as a sluice box by itself without the frame, there's a little button right here that you can unclamp this little button and put it in that hole. Some people in the past say, I'm losing my gold out of that hole. But it's not really true because most of the stuff you're dropping is right here. But if you want to, we can unclamp that and pop that right in that hole. But right now, we're just going to drop it in the frame. All right, we got a nice stream right here. We're looking for a nice spot that's got nice running water and it looks good. And we're just going to drop it right here. Now this is 50 inches long. The rule of thumb is an inch per foot. So it's about 4 foot long. We need about a 4-inch drop in this end versus this end. So we're going to try to drop it right here and see what we can get going. That looks okay. Kind of losing it. Now you don't want to see your sluice box under the water. What that does is makes too much pressure and it pushes the material and doesn't allow it to turn. So you need to get this end up a little bit so it's a little bit too deep. What we do there is just grab some rocks and shim it up a little bit. That's more better because now you don't want to see it much deeper than the size of the box. Now it's very critical to get it leveled off. You don't want to see it all the material run to one side, so we're going to try to get this leg leveled off with some rocks here. Put a few more rocks. I'm trying to get a little bit more stable. A little rocky on this side. Get a few more rocks. We're looking for stability. We don't want to shake it. Once we start putting the material in there, We don't want it rocking back and forth. We want a nice stable surface. Later, when I show you the leg kit, we won't have to go through all this because we can just level it off and it'll be sturdy right there. So now we're looking for no rocking. That's pretty good. The flow looks pretty good. That looks really good. Now, one last thing is the box is almost trying to float away. You can grab a rock that'll reach across it like this and hold the unit down with just a nice rock like that one. Now we're feeling pretty good. That's really good. At the right angle, that's about 4 inches. The real tell is when you put the material in there. You watch and see what the material does. You want to see that material turning. We're going to see that in a few minutes. Now what you want to do is find a nice spot on the bank where you can get some good material. You want to dig this stuff down here because this is a lot of flow sand where it's just flowing over the top. All the gold, when we have a flood in here, when it really gets a good rain, will fall off on the inside of the bank. So here's a natural turn of the creek, and we're going to dig up over here and try to get some material. So here's the placement. That took probably about 5 minutes, but it's all ready to go right there. Let's get some good material over here at the bank. To make your stream sluice run faster, you want to exclude all the rocks that are 3/4 and bigger. So this is a 1/2-inch classifier. So what you do is you set this on top of your bin right here, and we're going to classify all our material out to 1/2 inch or smaller. What you do is just set it on top there and rock it back and forth. And here we got all of the rocks that are bigger than 1/2 inch. We set that aside. Now, what's nice about gold prospecting, you can have kids. This is a real interactive sport that people can enjoy. You can have your child right there, and you could be shoveling right there. And nothing's better than having a kid digging in the dirt. It's a lot of family fun here. So it's best to have one guy shoveling and one guy shaking. And the kids, they really enjoy playing in the dirt right here, along with the big kids too, you know? So now the one thing with these 5-gallon buckets, you give your kid this bucket, you walk over there and he'll be filling it all up right there, and you come back and it's completely full to the top. And it's like, oh, you know, Johnny, you did a good job, but I can't pick up this bucket. It's so darn heavy. This is why we recommend the 3.5-gallon bucket. They can't overfill it and it's still easily usable, okay? So I recommend getting some of this. That way the kids, when they're out there filling up and you're running your material and they're filling it up, you can carry it back to the stream right there. So, but a 5-gallon bucket works really good. So we're gonna take this material back to our sluice box right here and see what we can do. Now a sluice box, it's a concentrator. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all this dirt and all the dirt that we're gonna put through it, it's gonna concentrate it into one 10-inch panful of material. When we clean out all the carpets, it'll equal one 10-inch panful of material. So a stream sluice is the first thing you can buy at a reasonable cost that can actually find some gold, because if you get your pan and dig it right here and pan that out, it takes 3 or 4 minutes to pan that same amount of material that'll go through here in about 30 seconds. The name of gold prospecting is you gotta move a lot of material to find a little bit of gold. And that's what a sluice box does for you at a reasonable price. So what we're gonna do is grab our bucket right here, and we're gonna flop it on right here. Right there. Now the material is gonna go across this stream, this rubber mat. That rubber mat is the first spot where you can ID gold and see gold come up on that rubber mat. What that does is when you start seeing these first specks come up there, then you know that's a good spot for gold, because you want to spend your time feeding this. When you get this thing set up here, I've already been here for 15, 20 minutes putting this in. We want to spend our time processing as much dirt as we can. So there we go. So you see the material behind the riffles and it's clean, behind the riffles clean, behind the riffles and clean. That's about the right angle right there. You always want to see, you never want to see the thing filling up clear up. There it comes across the rubber mat right there. We've got a little eddy right here. It's a little thing. We should swing it over just a little bit. But see this material turning right here? It's cleaning out right here. So you got dirt clean, dirt clean, dirt clean, dirt clean. That is perfect. That's what you want to see when you're running a sluice box. If it's filling up with sand all the way across, we don't have enough water flow or enough angle. Now we got a little dam going right here, so we got a good amount of water flow. But you see that? It goes really fast. That's at least a pan full of material right there. Again, that would take you about 3 or 4 minutes, and here we are about I don't know, 15 seconds. And we're ready to add some more, because here we got the dirt behind there. If you look really close, it's turning. What that's calling is it's calling a eddy, where the gold is falling off behind the riffles. Now the expanded metal acts like more little riffles, and it also protects your gold when it gets bigger rocks rolling over the top of it. It gets it trapped down in the carpet right there. But you see that is a perfect right there. Behind the riffle, clean. Behind the riffle, clean. That is really good. Again, we almost got this whole half bucket all done, and we only did a little bit. So here we're going to put some more in there. And again, that's probably a pan worth of material. Hey, we got our first speck of gold right here, right there. There's one little speck of gold right there. There's another one right there. So far we got about 2 specks of gold right there. Material's bouncing back and forth. But eventually that'll fall off in our ripples right here and get trapped right here. Now if I try to pick it up with my snuffer bottle, we're wasting our time. We want to keep running the material because it's not going to go anywhere. Because if you watch my finger right here, the speck's right there. If I put my finger next to it, it moves. It just jumped over about 1 inch and 3 doors down. So it's impossible to get that material off that rubber. So we're going to keep going. So we know that area right there is producing a little bit of specks right there. So what we're going to do is keep feeding our material. Again, that's a good pan worth of material right there. And again, that same amount of material, if we were panning it right here, it would be 3 or 4 minutes. And look, it's all done again. Again, it's so important that we want to see the material behind the riffles and clean. If it fills up with sand all the way across, that gold is going to follow that sand right out the end of the sluice box, and you lose all your material. We still got those 2 little specks, one right there and one right there. This one's a good size one, not real big, but we're finding some good gold here. That's all what it's all about. So there's our first pan with the stuff. That went fairly quick. Again, here's our little bucket, a little bit heavier, but again, we can process the material pretty fast. Now you got to remember that when I pile the material right here, only about 1/3 of the material touches this rubber mat. So what you see on the rubber mat, if we got 2 specks, 3 specks, there should be about 3 times as much in the mat, because when you set the material on top of the mat, it folds over, and only 1/3 of the material touches this rubber mat. And we still got our little 3 specks right there, but we should have 3 times, we should have at least 9 specks in our sluice box right there. Looking really good. It's nothing better than finding gold, you know? Neat thing about gold, it doesn't tarnish, it's always shiny, and you can tell it's gold because it's really heavy. It's still stuck on there. You notice there's nothing else on this mat. Nothing but our 3 little specks of gold that we still got there. That's how you know it's gold. It's gold color. And again, I can't stress enough that it's clean. You've got dirt behind the riffles, which is actually turning. If you look at it really close, it's continually turning. It's looking really good. So I see at least 1, maybe 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 1 there, and possibly a little dinky one right there. Okay, you seen me set this up in the creek here. We got all the rocks right here, and we're putting them underneath and stuff. This is a nice place to do it right now, but this is a fairly shallow creek. Some creeks, they fall off very fast, and they get very deep. Like I was telling you, the water can be no taller than the sides of the sluice box, because otherwise the pressure, you drop this on the bottom of the creek, the pressure is too great and the material will not flow. It'll just be water pressure holding the thing. You won't get the separation. You won't get that eddy because the water pressure is pushing it down. And that's where our legs come in advance. If we were out here, even this is kind of we're out here by about 10 inches of water right here. We'd have to stack up rocks, 8 inches of rocks, to be able to use it in this spot right here. And that's where our leg kit will come in handy, where the creek will fall down to get out where the running water is fast enough to process the material. So, but in a stream sluice, in this fashion, it's the best thing. There's no electricity. It runs. There's no permits. There's no season. It runs right here without no motor. And that's the sluice box for you. So now we're going to take it out and show you about how the leg kit works on that. We'll assemble the leg kit and then we'll come up and push it right on to it. So we'll come back to our box right here. Again, this is our whole kit. This is our kit. This is our pump head. Well, it brings water to our sluice box. We'll look at that later. And then here we go. This is our frame. What the frame does for you, it levels off in any terrain. We got 2 pieces of frame. So we can put it together by simply just sliding it together. There's a bottom and a top. The bottom has slots on it. That allows the water to get out of the thing. So there's your top, there's your bottom. Just simply slide it together. Hook it together like that. Better to set it on the ground. Put your foot on it. Doesn't get away. Put it together like that. And it's supplied with bolts and nuts right here. This is what you put through the holes right there to hold it together. So simply take out the bolts right here. It's really simple. Again, we're using wing nuts. We don't want to use any tools out here because a lot of times you don't have tools, or you just drop them in the dirt and they get lost. So here's your 2 wing nuts. We put the wing nuts on the inside so it's smoother with the bolt on the outside. So I simply put that through there like that. Turn it around. That's one side. And again, we put the wing nuts on the inside. Again, this frame folds down to 24 inches, so everything fits in the box nicely. There's our frame. Now we come to the legs. There's 2 kinds of legs here. We got longer legs and shorter legs. What that does for you is there's 4 inches difference between the 2 legs. What that does is that's your natural slope of the sluice box. So again, remember I told you it's a 50-inch sluice box, and the rule of thumb is 1 inch per foot. So that's 4 inches. So the difference in length of these legs are 4 inches. Now you notice we got a hole put at the end of the legs right here on all the legs. What that does for you, if you had to water real fast and it's moving, you can use those cheap tent stakes and stake it down. Or if you use it as a recirculator, you can screw it down to a piece of plywood and you got a strong foundation. You can actually screw it down to a plywood and bury that little bit of dirt. Then you have a super strong foundation. It's not getting away from him, not moving around and stuff. So we're gonna put the longer legs in the front. The front is where this hole is. This is where we're gonna put through that hole that we've seen in the flare, goes right through that hole right there. So the longer legs in the front, again, they're 4 inches difference. These bolts are stainless steel, so they won't rust on you. And we just open them up. We normally put our hole in the front like that. And again, if you notice, the hole goes all the way through. What that does, it doesn't hold any water, it doesn't rust them out. So and everything's plated. This gold plating here is zinc plating, so nothing's gonna rust on you. Got long life, nothing's raw. All the welds right here are continuously welded right here. All that's welded all the way around, so it's very strong. So just to get started, we're just gonna put it level. And again, that's our 4 inches of slope that we're looking for. And just tighten them up. So that's our front. The back is these little clips right here. All I do is our sluice box slips right in here, and I'll show you that in a few seconds here. Put that in there like that. Just tighten it up real simple. And again, I said these are stainless steel, so they don't rust on you. Got good life. And there's our frame. Simple right there. Still breaks down for backpacking it in and stuff, but there it is. Now we're going to move our sluice box right here. Now we got gold in here, so we want to be careful when we pick it up. There's latches underneath there. We don't want to push on the latches. That's how it gets deactivated for folding. So we want to hold our fingers out towards the edge of it. So here we're going to take our lockdown rock. Just take that off. Still sitting there pretty good. There's our gold still. We got 1, 2, 3 little specks. Now we're going to pull it up from the 2 ends. Just pick it straight up. Straight up. Now you can see right here our little specks of gold a little bit better here. You can see those. One right there, one right there, and one right there. That's really small gold, but that shows you how well this captures the gold. And again, all we're going to do is just slide it right over that length there. There, it's hooked on there. No tools. And again, this hole right here is going to line up with the front. I put my bolt in my pocket right here. I didn't lose it. Take my bolt out, and again, it's just going to be held on there with this one bolt. And again, as we're using it as a sluice box by itself without the stand, we can remove this plug and plug that hole. Like I said, I had a lot of people say, "Oh, that hole! I'm losing gold through that hole." Those are really intense people. They're really getting some gold there, you know. You know. And again, you see me where I was dropping it off. I was dropping it off right here. And mainly the flare is for channeling the water in there. Here we go. There it is. That easy. Now we're ready to drop it back in the stream. We're not going to worry about our goals, because even if it falls off, I know it's going to get caught in the riffles down here. I don't see any gold back down there, but we're going to give you an idea what's going to happen now. And again, it's a little shallow right here. When we come out here, now the water's not running quite fast enough right here, but I'm trying to get an idea how fast you can level this off right here. So we're going to lower the front until we start scooping water up. Lower the back right there. And there we go. Now, like I said, we're not running fast enough. If I open this up here, we can get a little bit more faster running water here. And again, we want that 4 inches of angle. But the bottom's never level. You always have rocks like this and stuff like that. You can have rocks that big and we can have that leg come way up here and still be leveled off really quick and easy. Now again, if I was running right here, I'd get some more water running through here. We open this up here. There's where we need to be. A little bit more faster running water here. We'll get more an angle right here too. Right there. That's where we need to be. Raise it up a little bit here, get it leveled off. And again, there we go. That quick. Leveled off. Any bottom, deep enough. There we go. We can actually grab our material here and start running some more through there. That's what the leg kit does for you. Again, drop it off on there. Looks like we need to be a little bit more over this way. Capture that faster running water right there. Just drag it over. They're right there. Lower it back just a little bit. There we go. You see the material running off the mat. It's running a little bit slower right here. So maybe what I need to do is plug that up right here to make it run faster here. But that was the optimum area right there. It had enough speed and enough water flow. But mainly I was just trying to show you how much faster it is with the legs. Otherwise, we're over here grabbing this big boulder. Is that enough? Yeah, that's about what I need. Right there. So I need about 6 boulders like this to level it off. And then it's rocking on boulders. With the independent legs, we're all set up right there. The next step is without running water. The sluice box is the best because there's no motors. You don't have to bring a battery down here. You got the natural running spring water right here, and it's really nice. No motors, nothing like that. But if you don't have running water, the sluice box is useless. So now we're going to take our flare off and put our pump on there. What that's doing is bringing running water to our sluice box. We're going to act like we just have standing pools of water. And where that comes in effect is when you go up to the mountains and you're running off snow melt, and you go up there and you're finding the good gold, and it's good, really good stuff, and you go back a couple months later, it's running a little bit slower. Now, if it runs a little bit slower, what you can do is you can dam it up. I've ran up where it's so steep, the water never gets but this wide, okay? So what I do is I'll dam it up and wait for pressure, wait enough pressure, open it up, and then run my material. Run my material, run out of material, run out of water, dam it up again. And while I'm damming it up again, I'm classifying my materials, getting my buckets over. I'm using my time wisely. So right now, we're going to act like we just have standing pools of water. So we're going to turn this from stream sluice into a high banker recirculator combo. So we're just going to pick it up. Again, take it back up to the bank right here. And we're going to put our pump head on here. This supplies water to our sluice box here. So we're continually having a water supply. Like I said, if the water was just standing in the big pools, we're not making any running water. What we have here is a 1,200 gallon per hour pump. It draws 5 amps. So we have a little battery over there we're going to run it off of. So to take this thing off, we're just going to remove our wing nuts, the ones we just put on to put the flare on. When we assembled it, we're going to use the same bolts to put our power head on. Just loosen this up right here. It's a little bit tight there. Again, no tools, wing nuts, and again, this one's held on here, right there on the bottom. There's our flare now. So we're going from channeling water to supplying water with power. Wipe that off a little bit. It's supplied with its own bolt here. We got a rubber washer on here to keep the leakage down a little bit right here. So that's the one we're going to use. And the side bolts are held by the same bolts we just took off there. And again, we're just using wing nuts, so there's no tools out here. So the same hole that held the flare on holds this on right there. That right there. Drop it through the again. It's at the little rubber washer right there to capture the sealed off a little bit better. And again, just clamp it on there. Okay. Put our bolts through there again. The same bolts that hold the flare on. Now this is all made like roof shingles. This one is on top of that one. That one's on top of that one. That one's on top of that one. So your roof doesn't leak too much. Hopefully not. This leaks a little bit, but generally they're all layered on top of each other like roof shingles. Drop that back on there. Now we're going to raise it with it. Since I got the legs here, I'm going to get up a little bit higher so I can not bend over so much. So I'm going to raise this all the way up to the top here again. So I'm not on the ground. A little bit easier to work with. And raise the bottom now. There we go. There we're up. We're not sitting on our knees and we can work efficiently. Next thing we do is hook our pump up right here. We got 7 foot of hose. You don't want to add to this. What happens is this is rated at 1,200 gallons per hour. Okay, it's the right amount of water flow. But if you were to take this pump and put it on here and take this way over there and put, 20 foot of hose on here, this 1,200 gallon per hour pump is rated at the head, which means right there. If it gets too far away, it's not going to get the right amount of water flow. So we're just going to put this on there right there. And here's our little battery clips. And again, like I said, this draws 5 amps. This is 12 volt battery. Runs on a 12 volt battery, so it's easy off-any marine battery. A deep cycle, you want a deep cycle battery. What we like to use here is a wheelchair battery. This wheelchair battery gets you 35 amp hour. What's the best thing about this is it's fully sealed. Doesn't dump, doesn't wreck the environment or anything. It's got a carrying handle on it. It's got 35 amp hours, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can run about 5 hours on this little battery right here. So this is what I like to use. Again, it's fully sealed, so you can get it in the water here. There's no problem about that. Now we want to get to putting our thing in the water here, so let's get a little bit closer. And again, if we got running water, we want to use our sluice box. Because here we had to bring our battery with us, okay? But with this, gives you the option. So if you have our kit with you, you're ready for running water or not. So if you go to your favorite place and it's just got standing pools of water, you got your pump right there, you're back in business and you're still making some processing with some material. Now with the pump right here, you see these leaves right here. This is a real bad enemy to our pumps right here, this leaves and stuff. Pine needles are another bad one. So what we want to do is not drop our pump right in these leaves and stuff. We want to protect it. And what I like to do there is just simply use a just a 1 gallon milk jug. Drop your pump in the milk jug, and the water has to overflow to get inside. So you're protecting your pump. So you simply drop it in there. Now if your pump does get clogged, it's real easy. It just has a little line right there, and you push this little button right here, and it just comes apart. There's another little red button you can push here to take the whole thing apart if something gets on the impellers. But you just line the things up, and it's that easy to clean off. So it's not impossible to clean up, but we don't like to suck up rocks and stuff. So now we're going to drop this in the water. Get a little bit right here, and get our bucket right here. And again, what we do is we just drop a rock in here to weight it down a little bit. Not that big, about that big. Put our pump in here. Again, our waterproof battery, it's a must. That way it falls over, no problem. Red's positive, black's negative, and we're pumping some water here. And again, we got it inside our milk jug, so we're not sucking rocks off the bottom. Now, if you see the bottom right here, it's very critical that this gets running clear. If you can see here, one side is not being used, all the material's off this side. That's because we're not level. You want to see the stuff come off the block right here like a waterfall. So that means we need to lower this side and raise this side up like this. We want to see a nice water flow. Now we're starting to get even again. Right there, that's looking good. Now if you want to run faster, just run it a little bit lower and it'll run a little bit faster. That's running perfect right there. We got some more material over here. We'll get our material here and run it again. And again, this is for when you only have no running water. Okay, here we go. Process is about the same, just like the other one. You build it up like this, like a dam. It'll wash it all the way down. See, all that material is gone already, that fast. So it runs almost as fast as within the stream, but here we got our pump right here. And again, we're a little bit off. There's a little bit heavier here and less here. So that means we need to lower this side. Real critical. Now, can you imagine using no leg kit and try to do this with rocks? It's impossible. This is where your leg kit really comes in handy to get it running. Now, that looks really good. Again, we got our dirt behind the riffles, clean, dirt, clean, dirt, clean, dirt, clean, dirt, clean. That's perfect right there. And we still see a couple little specks right there. So again, let's run our material right here. And what I do is I like to put a lot on. A lot on. What that does is it makes like a dam and it washes it all down. Like I said, that is a good pan full of material and we're like 10 seconds. So the name of the gold prospect is you got to move a lot of material to find that little bit of gold. Our little bit of gold is still right there, those 3 specks. Oh, I think, hey, we just got a next one right here. A next little one right there. So we're doing still good on that material that we got on that bank over there. And again, don't be afraid to get a lot on there. Again, you don't want to see it completely fill up with sand. Move it like that, it just washes it right down. Wait a few minutes, get some clean water coming up, and off you go. We got one more little speck right here. Now we got about 5 now. We had 4, we got 1 more. Again, it's not clogged up, just keep feeding it. See, that's more than a pan full of material right there. Washing it down. Now, if we had no water and we had to bring water to some place, we're using it as a high banker. We're taking the water, pushing it through, and this is called a high banker mode. If we're going to do a recirculator, we want to try to save all the water. Let's say we went someplace that had no water and we bring our own water with us. What we do is we get like a cement bin from like Home Depot or a reservoir, like a cheap reservoir, and we'd capture this water right here. So that is called our tailing bucket. So what that's going to do is going to catch our tailings as we feed it right here. So let's go ahead and feed it. There's a good pile right there. Now our other bucket would be sitting out here with our pump would be in there. So this is catching all our tailings. What water overflows right here, we pump back to the front. Now we have a closed loop system, so we're saving the water. So now we have 3 machines in one. We have our stream sluice running by itself. We have our high banker, and with our addition to our tailing bucket and our reservoir, we have a recirculator now. So we have 3 machines in one box. So here we're doing really good still. We still got our 5 little specks right there. I'm kind of anxious to see what we got in the carpet. Like I said, the real name of the game is when I pile this material, when you watch I pile this material on here, not all of it's touching the mat. Some is overflowing and rolling down the road here. And again, this is our tailing bucket. What I do is I have 2 tailing buckets. As soon as one's about half full of material, I switch it out. And that gives me time to let the dirt settle out and save the water. It's doing really good. I think we picked up another speck of gold right here. We got another one right here. About 7 or 8 right there. Anyway, we're doing really good. Again, this much material in a pan, about 3 to 4 minutes to pan that out. And here, like I said, if you make a dam, works the best. It just washes it all the way down. Like I said, when this bucket gets about half full, get your next bucket, take it out, let that set out, because we're trying to capture our water. We're doing really good. The next step is to do a clean out. That goes real easy too. But again, if you look right here, we got our material behind the riffles, clean dirt, clean dirt, clean dirt, clean dirt, right there. And again, like I said, you got 3 machines in one. With our kit right there, you're ready for just running water, high banking, and recirculating. That's the three functions of this sluice box. And again, holds up to 15 inches to 50 inches in merely probably less than a minute. We have a patent on the catching mechanism right there. So there's no other sluice box on the market like that today that goes together like that. So let's see what we got here. Kind of anxious to see what we got. We got some specks of gold up there. Nothing really big. But this is the kind of gold you'll find every day when you go out. You know, people will find those really big nuggets. It's not like that around here. You know, this is the kind of gold you find every day. But let's go ahead and turn it off. Just turn it off like that. I just take one off, just leave it on there. And we can see what we got. Again, we can see the really fine gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of fine gold. Nothing really that big, but that's what we're getting here. Again, if this was running as a recirculator, trying to save all the water, we dump all that water into our reservoir. And all the stuff that came off there, we call tailings. So that's all this junk right there. So we're trying to save the water. So now we're going to do a clean out. And as you've seen earlier, we put a couple buckets through here. We put some over there. We put another bucket through here. So like I said, what a stream sluice is, it's a concentrator. We're taking all those buckets of materials and taking it down. With all this material, it's going to hold about a 10-inch pan full of material. So what we're going to do is just simply unloosen our riffles up and take them out. This is our main riffles. These are not interchangeable. This section is a little bit wider and shorter. This one's longer and skinnier. That's our main riffles. Set that aside. I like to wash it off because there's always a chance of having some gold hanging on to anything right there. The expanded metal protects your gold. I don't see any gold. But that protects your gold and acts like more little riffles. It's very critical that you put this expanded metal in the right direction. The right direction, if you look at your riffles, they go at this angle. If I was to take a ruler and put it on this expanded metal, it's at the same angle as this right here. So if you put it in backwards, they fight with each other. It's very detrimental if you don't put it in the right direction. Just remember, it goes the same direction as the big riffles. This way for the big riffles, that way for the small riffles. So we're just going to take it out. It's a little bit locked in with sand. Shake it off right there. That's our expanded metal or our secondary riffles. Set that aside with our bolt right there. We're going to do the same thing right here, the same process. And again, these are not interchangeable. I just stack them up right there. Take out our main riffles. It's a little locked in with sand right there. Take them off. We got one really nice piece right here. Right here, right there. You can see that spot right there? There's one really nice piece right there. Right there. And again, look, that's the first riffle. That's the second riffle. It caught it right on the second riffle right there. That little speck of gold right there. I don't see anything else. We have some fines right here. And that's our first real big piece here. Again, we're going to take it out. Now, if you notice again, we got our dirt, clean, dirt, clean, dirt, clean, dirt, clean. That's perfect. You never want to see the whole thing full of sand. If the whole thing's full of sand and not this expanded metal showing, you didn't have enough angle or enough water flow. Okay, with that, that's our two sections out. Now we're going to take the carpet out. What's in here is our concentrates now. We've taken those 3 or 4 buckets that we put through here. We turned them into one pan full of material. So we're going to get our clean bucket full of our water here. And we're going to wash our carpets out. Carpets are the same way. They're not interchangeable. Everything's nice and tight. The stuff's really tight. So now we're rolling up all our sand, rock, gravel, right there in that little roll right there. Put them right there. Wash them out. Now when you're washing it out here, when it's rolled up like that, the gold's getting caught in the carpet fibers right there. You're holding it like that, you're rolling around like that, you're washing it out like that, it's still being held by those carpet fibers. What you gotta do is you gotta take your carpet, roll it inside out. That's the secret. What that does is opens up the carpet fibers like this so it can release the gold right there. You'll see no sand on there when you do that. So you wanna roll your carpet both directions. It gets a real good clean out of it. Now this is rib rubber carpet, rib outdoor carpet. The gold gets trapped down in those deep ribs right there. So that's our one right there. Now we're gonna do the same process right here. And again, I can see that one speck of gold right there. I can see one more over here. We got two fairly nice pieces. Again, we're just gonna roll it up. Roll it up. Right like that. Take this out, put in our thing. There's our, look at right there. See that little speck of gold right there? There's another guy right next door to it. Right there, that little speck of gold right there. Again, if you just roll it up like this way, you can shake it up and down a lot. That carpet fiber is still holding it. Take it and roll it wrong side out. Like I said, it opens up those carpet fibers and you get a much better yield on that. Wash that out. Now some people say, oh, I burned my carpet at the end of the year, you know. I don't recommend that. You wash it out really good. There's no gold getting caught down in there. If it is, that's so fine that, you know, can't see it. Now, people say, oh, there's all this dirt in here. What do I do? What do I do? It's really simple. So we're gonna put our recovery bucket right here, and it's gonna bump our little motor on, and we're gonna wash that thing clean as whistle right there. Here we go. Here comes the water. And we still got all our little fine gold right up here on our mat. I'm hoping we're gonna have a whole lot more stuff in the carpets here. We'll find out in a second there. We're gonna roll it back and forth right here. Get it all nice and cleaned out, get ready for next time. Okay, there's a good clean out. All except for our really fine gold that we got up here on the river mat. Well, we wanna use our stuff here. So in this bucket, I'm gonna pour it over a pan so we don't pour out any gold. Now when you get a brand new bucket like this is injection molded. There's stuff called mold release on these buckets. When you get a new bucket like this, you wanna get in there and get some sand and rough that stuff up and get that oil off that bucket, because oil and gold don't mix, okay? So when you get a new bucket like this, or also a new pan, get a brand new pan, you wanna get it really roughed up, because you'll see gold float right on the surface of the water. You think, it's not gold, it's floating. But it's the oil. It could be the oil from your hands. You don't want to use hand lotion. Hand lotion is really bad. Even though you're out here working, your hands are dry, better to have dry hands and have hand lotion on top of your water, because the gold will float right on the surface of the water. So this is my pan. I've had this for many years. Works real good. It's about a 10-inch pan. It's really roughed up. It's really good. So now what I'm going to do is take my pan and pour my water off in my pan so I don't lose any material that I got. So we're calling this like a safety pan to catch any specks of gold. So I don't want to pour on the dirt since we've spent time getting all this dirt here. I'm going to pour it out slowly. Here comes some dirt. That's really fine dirt. That's not where the gold at. The gold's at the very bottom. Okay, so what we got here in our bucket is concentrates now. This is concentrates. This is all the buckets that we put through here. We got it down to this much of our pan right here. Again, it's got some rocks in it and stuff, but we're gonna pan it out and see what we got. Again, we got no considerable material there. What I like to use is my hex pan. I really enjoy using this one. It's got 3 different sides on it. It's got a real rough side for running it coarser. You can move it over here. I'll show you about that. You can go up and down, and over here it's textured. Grabs a hold of the gold, the water goes in, washes the black sand out, and captures the gold. We can probably pan this stuff down in probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes with this pan right here. If you don't have a pan like this, and you only have a round pan, I recommend using an 1/8-inch mesh screen, kind of like the 1/2-inch mesh that we have over there, but 1/8 inch. What that'll do is it'll get rid of all those big rocks and stuff that interferes with panning it out. But a hex pan, each time you go back and forth, it concentrates it right into the corner. Unlike a round pan, every time you go back and forth, it's just sliding side to side to side. With the hex pan, each time you go back and forth, it concentrates it right down to the corner. It's the best. That's what I like. So now let's pick a spot right here. Again, we're gonna use our safety pan. We're not gonna dump this stuff back into the creek here. We got spent hard time getting it out. So we're gonna put our safety pan right down there. We're gonna put a rock in it. It doesn't try to float away on us. Let's get a smaller one. There's a nice flat one. Right there, that's good. Now we're gonna load our material right here. Again, trying to be careful not to dump our materials. Agitate it, and we can pour it in. Then just throw a little bit of water up inside, get a good washout. Okay, so here's all of our concentrates right here. We're gonna do is swirl it, get the material down at the bottom. And ideally, I do this up on a table, but here we go here. Like I said, each time we swirl it back and forth, it's concentrated down to the corner. You wanna get it down in the corner, then just merely slough it off. There's the big old rocks falling off. No gold's coming out because I already got it concentrated down to the bottom. Again, stratify it, bring it back, pan it down, and again, just slough it off. The gold has gotten clear down to the very bottom of the corner. And again, I got my safety pan right here so it'll catch anything that I could be losing. And again, bring it back. It's called stratifying, where you bring it back, get it concentrated down to the corner, and again, back up and up. You want to pull up big rocks like that and stuff. See that? This is all pure black sand. What that black sand is, this rocks here. That's actually steel. That's magnetic. So what that's steel. Where you find material like that, there's gold, because this is heavy. This is heavy like steel. This is actually magnetic. You can actually put a magnet on there and pull it up. But you gotta watch out, some of the gold will pull up with it too. You can lose gold right with that. Once you get it to this point, you can bring the material down to this other side where it has these little bars, and that gets the big rocks out. I see some gold here. Let me try to get this down a little bit further for you. So you can see, again, we're gonna pull out the big rocks. And you start to see gold moving, where I see some little specks of gold moving, I bring it back to the corner. Again, right there. I'm gonna pull these last rocks out. Look, I got it down from all those rocks down to pure black sand and gold. That fast, without screening it. Now there goes some specks of gold right here. Some gold coming up right here. I don't want to take any further than that. There's also some little garnets right here. Garnets are little what they call semi-precious stones right here. They're also heavy, and you'll catch these garnets right here. So we got a whole pile. See these red garnets right here? They're shiny right here in the corner right here. Those are garnets. Here's some gold right here. So, and here's some really fine gold right here. Now I'm gonna take it from here and put it in my pan over there so I can roll it around. Here I can't roll it because it hits the corners and it doesn't flare it out where I can suck it up. But we got a lot of garnets right here, and this is pure black sand. That's how efficiently our sluice boxes captured all this stuff. So right now I'm gonna set this aside. Now this material, I panned it out a little bit fast. There's still gold in here. If I pan this out, I bet we have a couple specks in here. Not a whole lot, but I never throw this material out. I take this back home and spend my time cleaning it there. If I was out here running this in production, I probably wouldn't do such a good cleanup. I know I got gold in there. I just throw it aside, keep prospecting. I'm gonna spend my time out here running materials and running as much material as I can, not cleaning it out. But for your sake, we're seeing what we got here. Again, save this material. Spend your time. Don't bring your little tweezers and stuff trying to pick up those little micro specks. You're just wasting your time. Not wasting your time, but when you're out here, you drove 3 or 4 hours to get here. We want to spend a bunch of time daylight processing materials. So now we got a clean pan right here. We're going to dump our material in here where I can get a better view of it. Looks like it. I'll get a little bit of more water here. Okay. We're bringing it to the corner here. And what we can do is what's called flaring. You bring it around. That's all pure black sand. That's really good. And then our little garnets in there too. And you start seeing our little flakes right there. I can pan it out a little bit further. But you see our gold coming right there? Those little specks right there. They're really fine. All those little specks right there. See right there? Nothing really big. There's probably that big one that we seen earlier right there. We'll use a snuffer bottle. It's like a little squeeze bottle we suck up our material with. We have to find it over here someplace. That's how we pick up our gold right there. Oh, there's the one we seen. That's the guy we seen earlier. That's a nice piece. That's the one we seen up on the front of the carpet. This one's probably the one we seen at the front. So there's our gold. Let me try to flare it back one more time for you. Okay. Oh, here's our snuffer bottle right here. What this is, we use to capture our fine gold. What it is a straw inside of a plastic bottle, and the straw extends into the bottle. So when you squeeze it, it flows up into the bottle, but won't flow out because the straw is in the center of it. Like again, I'm not gonna spend time pulling out all this stuff. There's nothing that won't fit through the straw here. But you can see that gold right there in the corner. See that? We know that's gold because it don't move, it's hot, it's really heavy. And we can shake it and get it to the corner a little bit more. See it climb up the side right there? That's gold. So we're gonna take our little snuffer bottle here. I'm not worried about picking up the sand. I have another machine at home that we separate right there. So we're sucking up all that gold. We can get it back in the corner again. Again, even this black sand contains microfine gold that you want to save. You never want to throw this black sand away. I keep this separate from that stuff. That stuff I'll pan out one more time and just throw it away. But this black sand, you never want to throw this away. Again, we're just flaring it out, looking for our specks of gold. Here comes one right here. Really fine. That's how good we are about recovering it. It's this really fine gold. That piece right there, watch this. Zoom. There's another one right there. Here comes another one. Like I said, you could spend, time trying to get this one spot right there. Look how fine that is. That little speck right there. Bring it out to someplace clean, and you can put this in there and just suck it right up. Like I said, I take this material and go through what's called a blue bowl, and it separates it one more time. There's another piece right there. Again, this is what we find every day running a sluice box. Just this really fine gold. No pickers. But again, here's another one right here. Here's another one. But it's really fine. It's doing a good job here. Like I said, I take this home, play with it at home. When I'm out here, I want to use my time processing the materials. Reassembly of it, we want to put it back together. This is indoor-outdoor carpet. It's meant to get wet, but you don't put it in your trunk. When you close it up, you don't put wet clothes in your trunk and close the trunk and leave it there for a week. What I do is I reassemble it without that in there. Put my expanded metal back in there the right direction. Again, it's very critical. Oh, we forgot to tell you how to get the gold off the rubber mat here. It's right there. We need to do that. But the expanded metal there is backwards. There's a blow up on our instructions how to put it in the right direction, but that is backwards. If you put a ruler on there, that's going that direction. This is going that direction. So the difference between right and wrong is that, or that, or that. That's the right direction. That's the wrong direction. Remember, the gold gets trapped behind the big riffles, gets trapped behind the little riffles. So how we get this gold off a rubber mat right here is there's some really fine micro gold right here in the corners, right there. Some little pieces right there. This is the ones that we seen earlier. What we can do is get our little snuffer bottle again, put our safety pan right there, I don't lose it, and we're gonna put a little bit of water in there. Probably better to use a bucket or something. Maybe turn the water on a little bit. We'll need more water. Get that water and come over and suck it up. You got one piece still. We need to get a little bit more water here. What we can do is put it upstream a little bit. Get some water in there. Okay. I got it all except for two little specks right there. And again, we should probably put our safety pan over there so we're not losing any gold. Let's do it one more time. That looks like it. So like I said, reassembly, we don't want to put our wet carpet back in there. We put our, I put the expanded metal back in there with the riffle. And then when I take it home, I'll, next day it dries out, and I'll put it back together once my carpet's dry. Remember I told you earlier the parts are not interchangeable. So we're gonna see what a part right there. This part you don't fit there, so you can't get it wrong. And the expanded metal, it don't fit there either, because this is a precision item. Everything is precisionally done. It's not universal. So we're gonna put our expanded metal in there, remembering the gold gets trapped behind the big riffles, behind the little riffles. Put that back in there. Put our wing nut back on there. Again, no tools. Put that on there. And again, this is our carpet. We're gonna wait till this is polyolefin indoor carpet. It's meant to get wet, but we don't put it in there for when we're storing it. We let it dry out. Then we're gonna disassemble it again. Remember, it's only held by this one bolt right here on the flare, on our head right here. Take that out. Take that off. And then the same bolts that held the flare on holds our pump head on here. Take that off. Set that right there. Back on there. Put that on there. There's our pump, our high banker head. We'll go ahead and put our bolts back in here for storage. Again, it's all no tools. You don't want to have any tools out here. It's the time you don't bring your tools with you. That's when you need them. So no tools. Nothing to lose. Okay, and that goes back on our head right there. Back on that hole. This fits right between the two spots right there. We're going to slide it right off there. There's how it was held on there with just that one bolt. Now to disassemble this thing, there's a button right there. It says push here. Let's see if we can see that. Right there. It says right here. Push here, patent pending. So what that is a latch. And all you do is you can feel it with your braille. You just push it, folds up like that. Now this piece has got to go first. So we're going to reach over here, feel that little button right there, and push right there. Fold that one into that one. Again, you don't need to see it. I can feel it. I can feel it braille. Just push it right there, back like there. That's our Royal Manufacturing folding sluice box. 50 inches to 15 inches in a matter of minutes. Fits in your 5-gallon bucket. Pick up your shovel and your pan. You got everything right here. You're ready to go, and I'll see you at your next creek next time. Thank you. Thanks for watching our video featuring our folding sluice box with our patented locking devices. Goes from 50 inches to 15 inches by merely just pushing a button. Go back like that, locks up with no tools. We have other sluice boxes available, our 54-inch by 10-inch with Hungarian riffles, our 30-inch with riffles there, the flare stores inside. We have other gold prospecting equipment including dry washers, high bankers, pans, and other tools that you might need, including treasure scoops for metal detecting and all your treasure needs. See us there. Thank you.